Guys, welcome back to Buzzer2Buzzer. Alright, again, so over the past couple of days, we have found out a new development about a sport which we don't often talk about too much, but still deserving of our time, that, of course, being soccer. That being that, guys, a Super League has recently been in the mix and is being formed. A Super League, a league, which is going to be handpicking teams from the best of the best leagues, like the Premier League, the La Liga, taking the best teams and putting all the best teams into one separate league. Now, guys, this is changing the landscape of the game of football to a whole other degree. We're talking about the best teams playing each other multiple occasions throughout the year. We're not just talking about these big name games happening in the Champions League or other intercontinental cups throughout the year. Now, guys, this has also caused a lot of uproar throughout the sports world, and sort of putting this into an analogy for our basketball fans. Say we got the Eastern and Western Conference. We're talking about the best teams, the top two seeds from each conference are now going to be making their own league and sort of seceding from the NBA. Guys, our thoughts on this overall structure, and should teams be a part of this?
I can definitely see why the fans are upset right now. Like obviously seeing all the best teams in the world forming their own league is kind of crazy to think about. Like you said, around with the NBA analogy, that would be insane if the top two teams from East and West joined their own league. That would be kind of crazy. But you also have to think about the reason that they're doing this. The main reason why this is becoming a thing, the whole Super League, is because they're trying to make up for lost revenue. The Champions League isn't going to make it up. It's because of COVID-19. A lot of soccer fans, they're not watching football as much, and the sport is not generating that much revenue. So this is all just to make up for that revenue. And there's a lot of uproar from fans, from other players, from teams that are not in the Super League. Which is understandable. This is like an insane thing. I think we don't really understand because none of us really watch soccer, but I can see why people are upset with this decision.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Thinking about just, the two clubs that have already decided to withdraw, will other clubs follow suit, and, what will happen? Will they just end the Super League? Will they go with the, fewer number of teams in the Super League? But yeah, obviously this was just a money grab. They wanted to make up for lost revenue, obviously, because of this pandemic. But, it takes away from the game of soccer. And obviously, I don't watch soccer at all. But based off what I've been reading, this would completely change the entire sport of soccer. And I understood exactly why the fans had the uproar they did.
To put the money in the context, an English team, so team of the Premier League, if they had won the Premier League and the Champions League in one season, they would have had made less money than if they simply joined the Super League. Joining the Super League pays more money than winning those leagues combined. So obviously the money's the main factor. And so a lot of people are complaining that they are focusing on the money too much, and soccer's for the fans. And even many owners have come on, many board members of teams have come on and said that making money is their number one priority. Fan acknowledgement and having fans be okay with this is number two. So they don't really care about the fans right now. And so obviously, a lot of people are very devastated by the announcement of the Super League.
And I think that everybody has a point of view. Clubs are receiving $3.5 billion to take part in this. I think the owners, the way the game of football and a lot of sports across the world are changing into more of a business. It's clear for the owners. But as an aspect from the fan, the anticipation which you have for seeing a big game go on throughout the year. I mean, seeing a Ronaldo versus Messi, Juventus versus Barcelona match going down every other week is going to take away from that experience. It takes away from that uniqueness, going to economics, harsh, diminishing marginal utility out here. It's not going to be fun to watch these guys balling out every single week. Now, I think that you also got to acknowledge that some teams are taking the right way, opposing, like German clubs, Barcelona, FC Bayern Munich pulling out, and teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, Manchester United still staying in. I think, honestly, it's now looking at the players who can make a statement. They got the following, looking at specific big-name players, Messi, Ronaldo, to name a few. If those players oppose, then we can get the ball rolling. But honestly, I feel like that there's a lot of other mitigations and stuff which should come about from this. Guys, UEFA, the league which governs essentially football, soccer throughout Europe, they're coming out saying that these players who partake in this, not only will their clubs be banned from their respective leagues, but also the players will not be able to partake in upcoming cups, with one of the most notable cups being, of course, next year in Qatar, the 2022 World Cup. Now, if that were to happen, guys, we're saying that these players will not be able to represent their countries. Like Messi is not going to play for Argentina. We won't see Ronaldo in the Portugal uniform. Is that something to consider as well?
Well, I don't know the exact specifics about how a player can opt out, but if they can, I feel like they would. And I feel like the World Cup is obviously the biggest stage for all soccer. I think it's coming up here in 2022, but that would be terrible for a player to not play for his home country in one of the biggest, probably the biggest sports stage in the entire world. So I think that's something they're going to have to look into as a player individually.
Yeah, representing a club team is one thing, right? It's just like a club team is something that they do outside of playing for international teams. But if they can't play for their own team, I think maybe that's what fans are the most upset about if that can't happen. And obviously the players are going to be upset about it too if you can't play for your home country. So like Arjen said, I don't really have a lot of knowledge or information about how that's going to work with players opting out of the Super League or not playing in there, or if that's even going to happen. But I think for sure fans want to see players play for their home country and try to win the World Cup.
So if the Super League were to happen, basically the UEFA, the organization that runs the Champions League, has come out and said that we will make sure no player will be able to represent their country. And obviously this doesn't apply for one of the best and most known soccer players in the world, Messi. He's actually from Argentina, so he actually is not part of the UEFA. Neither are the majority of it. Neither are American or Mexican soccer players. But obviously, we know European soccer teams are the most, so we're missing out on Ronaldo. Mbappe is actually on PSG, so he won't be involved. Neymar again, not involved in the team, but if you were in one of those Super League teams, again Brazil. So CONCACAF, the North American UEFA equivalent, has not said anything about this. And this is sort of the way of UEFA trying to fight back and get back these teams from joining the Super League. So nothing's in cement, but this is sort of one of their main threatening mechanisms.
Well, for sure, a lot to consider. And as for the USA team, hopefully if we can even qualify by getting past the qualifying round, then I think that our governing body will have to think about this. But other than that, Europe, soccer might be changing for the years to come. Alrighty, guys, well, those are our thoughts on this whole Super League forming throughout these European countries and soccer leagues. As always, guys, be sure to like button, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this whole concept of the best teams being handpicked and competing against one another. Truly something fascinating, and it could define and have an effect on other sports for the years to come. Guys, take care. Catch you guys on the next one. See you guys.